Hello everyone, my name is Carol Robinson. I'm the chair of the Scientific Steering Committee of the SCORE-sponsored Integrated Marine Biosphere Research Project, and I'd like to spend the next 15 minutes or so updating you on IMBER activities and scientific highlights that have occurred since the last SCORE General meeting in October 2019. Just a reminder that the IMBER mission is to promote integrated marine research and enable capabilities for developing and implementing ocean sustainability options within and across the natural and social sciences, and to communicate the relevant information and knowledge needed by society to secure sustainable, productive and healthy oceans. Our aspiration is to undertake activities and produce outputs which impact marine policy and governance, which will therefore likely lead to a change in behaviour and an increase in societal ocean literacy and capacity in interdisciplinary marine science. The IMBER Science Plan is divided into 3 themes or grand challenges. The first grand challenge relates to developing whole system level understanding of ecosystems, including biogeochemical cycles and human interactions. The second grand challenge is to incorporate this understanding of the drivers and consequences of global change into models to project and predict future states. The third grand challenge aims to improve communication and understanding between IMBER science, policy and society to achieve improved governance, adaptation to and mitigation of global change and transitions towards sustainability. And the ultimate aim is to transition towards and maintain sustainable oceans, which means our science should be useful and accessible for policy and governance. The way that IMBER progresses this science is through 4 regional programmes and 4 working groups. Each of the regional programmes involves the work of tens to hundreds of researchers, as they each have their own steering committee, their own science plan, and they each organise their own focused conferences and workshops. These are ESAS, Ecosystem Studies of Subarctic and Arctic Seas, ClearTop, Climate Impacts on Oceanic Top Predators, CYBER, Sustained Indian Ocean Biogeochemistry and Ecosystem Research, and ICED, Integrating Climate and Ecosystem Dynamics in the Southern Ocean. And the 4 working groups, some of which are collaborations with other global research projects, such as SOLAS, CLIVAR, Future Earth Coasts, the Global Carbon Project and the International Ocean Carbon Coordination Project, address topics of ocean carbon cycling, ocean acidification, continental margins, and human dimensions. The IMBER family also includes more than 3,000 individual scientists in around 80 countries, endorses or supports 10 national and international projects, and acts as a partner or collaborator with around 12 international networks and projects. Around 150 IMBER public papers were published this year. These are listed in our annual progress report to SCORE, so I just need to highlight a few here to give you a flavour of the topics addressed. Jennifer Marsh and Franz Mutter from ESAS investigated the factors limiting the southern extent of polar cod in the eastern Bering Sea and Labrador, Newfoundland region of the Arctic Ocean to show that when temperatures were lower, the cod occupied a wider area and had higher abundances. Temperature had a much larger impact on cod abundance than did competitor or predator abundance, suggesting that as temperatures increase with climate warming, the range of polar cod is likely to contract. Management of the Southern Ocean krill fishery is currently centred around the importance of krill as a food source for seals, penguins and whales, with no consideration of what effect the harvesting of large quantities of krill might have on ocean biogeochemical cycles and hence atmospheric levels of carbon dioxide. However, Emma Cavan and colleagues, after reviewing how the physiology and migratory behaviour of krill have a significant impact on the cycling of nutrients, rate of primary production and storage of carbon in the Southern Ocean, suggest fishery management in future should take into account this vital biogeochemical role. Within the SOLAS IMBER Ocean Acidification Group, Tyler Wilson and colleagues used a socio-economic impact assessment framework informed by a biophysical model of future species distributions to investigate ways in which human societies could be affected by ocean acidification. Specifically, they looked at the potential impacts on Atlantic Canadian society from potential changes in shellfish fisheries driven by the multiple stresses of ocean acidification and climate change, to try to predict which coastal provinces might be most vulnerable to future decreased availability of shellfish, such as crab, shrimp, and lobster. The study predicted changes in the distribution of shellfish due to increasing temperature and declines in shellfish catch due to ocean acidification. The socio-economic risk analysis suggested that while some communities would experience declines in resource accessibility, their social resilience is moderately high and can be further improved through increased education and alternative employment opportunities. Interdisciplinary studies such as this are required for effective management of resources and development of potential adaptive strategies. Seamounts are known to shelter rich, fragile, and poorly resilient ecosystems whose ecological functions are threatened by anthropogenic pressures. Through connectivity by ocean circulation, any overfishing and loss of biodiversity on seamounts can negatively affect fisheries, livelihoods, and ecosystem services along long stretches of coastline. To ensure the conservation and sustainable use of the biodiversity associated with the seamounts, specifically those that fall in areas beyond national jurisdiction, protection measures need to be in place within an internationally recognised legal and institutional framework. Within the remit of cyber, Marsac and colleagues used the Walter Shoal Seamount in the southwestern Indian Ocean as a case study to discuss how it could become a fully protected space within the legal framework of the United Nations Nairobi Convention. Their suggestions included: 1, the promotion of marine spatial planning studies in order to compile an inventory of existing and planned at-sea activities; 2, development of historical data rescue activities in order to establish a knowledge base on the marine natural heritage; 3, development of multidisciplinary administrative capacity in order to design management plans dedicated to seamount conservation; and 4, creation of a legal network of seamount marine protected areas connected through marine corridors in order to protect these sensitive ecosystems. A collection of 40 or so papers which contribute to achieving IMBER's grand challenges and which originated from discussions and presentations at last year's Open Science Conference are currently being edited for publication in a dedicated research topic of frontiers in marine science. The Interdisciplinary Marine Early Career Network, IMICAN, was launched at the IMBER Open Science Conference in 2019 and now has more than 700 members representing more than 90 countries. Despite the disruption due to the COVID pandemic, IMICAN has been very active this year. One major activity that they've undertaken is the editorship of a second research topic in Frontiers in Marine Science for papers arising from the IMBER Open Science Conference, this time for those that are led by an early career researcher. This research topic has been incredibly popular, with 50 abstracts submitted and 17 articles published so far. IMICAN also organised a 3-day virtual workshop on marine spatial planning in August this year. Each day started at a time that was most suitable for a different time zone or region in order to be as geographically inclusive as possible. The whole event was recorded, and these recordings are now on the IMBER website. The event attracted 681 participants from 82 countries and interestingly included representatives from government agencies and NGOs, as well as postgraduate students and postdoctoral researchers. IMBER also acts as a partner to 2 large international projects, both funded for 8 years by the Canadian Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council. The Global Partnership for Small-Scale Fisheries Research, Too Big to Ignore, was established to rectify the marginalisation of small-scale fisheries in national and international policies, and to develop research and governance capacity to help address global fisheries challenges. The project brought together expertise in anthropology, conservation biology, ecology, economics, geography, history, political science, public administration, and sociology in order to promote recognition and understanding of the importance of small-scale fisheries to livelihoods, well-being, poverty alleviation, and food security, to assess their vulnerability to anthropogenic global change processes, and to build local and global capacity in research and governance for the future. IMBER contributed logistical and administrative support to Too Big to Ignore, including at the regular World Small-Scale Fisheries Congresses and at dedicated sessions at IMBER conferences. The idea for the Vulnerability to Viability Global Partnership originated from discussions within the IMBER Human Dimensions Working Group and developed from the Global Change Responses Research Cluster of Too Big to Ignore. V2V is a transdisciplinary initiative for the co-creation of knowledge and the development of community-based capacity to reduce vulnerability and enhance viability of small-scale fisheries in Asia and Africa. It builds on the IMBER ADAPT assessment framework designed within the Human Dimensions Working Group to help managers make quick and appropriate decisions when confronted with global change issues. Community-engaged research will be conducted in 6 countries in Asia and 6 countries in Africa when the project starts, hopefully next year. A major change within IMBER this year has been the relocation of one international project office from Bergen in Norway to Halifax in Canada in March, and the expansion of the Shanghai Regional Project Office into a second international project office in January. John, Lisa and I travelled to Shanghai to sign the Memorandum of Understanding with the State Key Laboratory of Estuarine and Coastal Research at the East China Normal University, and SCORE signed the Memorandum of Understanding with the new Canadian hosts at Dalhousie University and the Ocean Frontier Institute. So this is the team who keep IMBER running. John, Lisa and Tracy are based in Halifax, and Fang and Kai are based in Shanghai, and we are about to advertise for a Deputy Executive Office Director to join the team in Shanghai. We recently reviewed our communication strategy, and taking advantage of the move to Halifax, we have revamped the website and adopted a more professional approach to social media with targeted, visually appealing posts on Twitter and WeChat. We now have 3 different e-news bulletins targeting different audiences, a bi-monthly English version of the e-news, a Chinese e-newsletter, and a monthly IMICAN newsletter. We have also become more systematic and proactive with our communications by scheduling content around upcoming IMBER events and trying to build synergy with the activities of our sponsors and partners to optimize resources. This is the group of people who currently oversee the activities of IMBER, the Scientific Steering Committee, which consists of both natural and social scientists. In order to ensure the combined skill set of the SSC continues to be appropriate to achieving the IMBER research goal, we recently undertook a skills survey visualized in this word cloud and aligned the research questions within the challenges of our science plan. Together with an annual review of progress towards achieving the research questions within the science plan, particularly those within the time and task limited innovation challenges, This informs our annual open call for new SSC members, because we target the skill sets that we lose when current members rotate off and new skill sets that we feel we need for newly developing research questions. We currently have 2 places available on the SSC to start in 2021. We had an open call which produced 24 applications, which we're currently reviewing for discussion at our forthcoming executive and SSC meetings in November. We have a number of activities in the pipeline, some of which have had to have been postponed from this year to next. We aim to hold the 7th in the series of biennial climate and ecosystem summer schools in Vancouver in August next year. This 5-day event is endorsed by the UN Decade of Ocean Science, and we currently have more than 250 applications from early career researchers for the 60 to 70 places that are available. 10 lecturers with expertise in natural, social and economic sciences will help the participants develop their theoretical and applied understanding of interdisciplinary science, with lectures and practical activities on modelling and managing marine resources. The first IMBER West Pacific Symposium, developed from the long-standing series of China, Japan, Korea symposia, was due to be held in Thailand in December, but will now be held virtually in the early part of 2021. The schedule is currently being finalised and will be released soon. The 6th in the series of biennial IMBER workshops is due to be held in autumn 2021. We are currently developing 3 parallel workshops on exploring potential marine options for climate intervention, developing seasonal to decadal predictions using coupled physical socio-ecological models, and ocean governance and adaptation, under an umbrella theme of marine biosphere research for sustainable oceans, buoyant solutions for science and governance. And on that positively buoyant note, I'd just like to end by thanking SCORE so much for sponsoring IMBER, without which none of this would be happening. And I look forward to discussing IMBER activities further with you at the virtual 2020 Annual General Meeting in a couple of weeks. Thank you very much.